Hi everyone. In this video, I want to share two different YouTube channels with everybody and give you a quick analysis about how this relates to dog culture. And then I got a couple ideas on how we can get the message out about how nasty dog culture is. First, we're over at the Todd Grande channel. So his channel, he does theoretical analysis of how tragedies can happen or abuse can happen. So it's a pretty interesting channel. In this video, he's talking about this couple right here. They adopted a chimpanzee. So they had a pet chimp, and eventually the chimp attacked them, and he talks all about it here. I'll let you guys watch it by yourself, but the chimp basically, snapped and left them in pretty bad shape. So let's go down to the comments for a little bit. I just want to show you some of the comments because this can apply to dog culture. Like this person says, the horrific extent and state of the injuries is a direct warning. They're basically calling out some of the things that these chimp owners said about the chimp in order to trick themselves into keeping the chimp. You know, the chimp is better behaved than some people. It's not a very high bar to swing from. Yeah, the chimp is unpredictable, but a lot of these comments are the types of comments that we as dog culture critics will make when we see these constant, almost weekly pit bull attacks on toddlers and worse attacks on women and limb removals from dogs. Why would you want a four-legged predator as a pet for your little kid when they are constantly killing little kids? A woman's face was chewed off by a chimp. So do you see what's going on here? It's like dogs can get away with this stuff daily in our society. But when it happens with a chimp, people are actually having some common sense. They're actually having a wider view of this and making some more intelligent statements and analysis. But with dogs, we don't make any of these type of analysis. Just look at some of these comments where they critique the stupidity of owning a chimp. But in our society right now, we don't critique ownership of dogs like this, even though dogs are in, almost every freaking home, every yard, hospitals, schools, bus stops, all these places where the dog attacks are happening. So I just wanted to show you this video because this really compares. So now let's go over to a playlist that I put together. So those people were torn up pretty bad by that chimp, and the commenters and critiquers, they have the right to call those people out for making a stupid decision. But look at the stupid decisions that our society makes for all these little kids. This is just 27 videos of face surgeries that have been required because of dog attacks on little kids. So all of the bad stuff that they said about that chimp, Brooklyn Curry, you guys remember her? All of the bad stuff that has been said about that chimp, this is happening almost daily in our country because of dogs. And where's the outrage about dogs? And the fact that we allow these kids to be torn up by dogs, what does that say about our society on a broader level? And the chimp owners, they got their genitals and nose removed. Well, look at what dogs do. Dogs remove people's limbs. Like, look at all these stories. And most of these are women. Girl's arm is ripped off. Elderly people. This woman, look at this woman. She's still face kissing her dog after the capnocytophaga from the dog made her lose her limbs. This woman lost her limb after the dog attacked her. And if you go look at the story, the woman will say, "Oh, I don't blame the dog." A Las Cruces woman loses this arm after being attacked by a dog. So I'm just pointing this out to show you guys the crazy disparity about how our brains work when it comes to dogs. We literally allow dogs to shred us to bits like this, and the critiquing and the judgment and the proper analysis of dogs, it's never there. And we do have the capability to do this. All you got to do is to look at some of these channels that talk about these crazy attacks by other animals. Yeah. So, a suggestion I was thinking that we could do is go onto these channels where they analyze stuff like this and then just say something in the comments. I'm going to say something in the comments. I'm going to say, I would love to see this type of attention for dog attacks. And so the people that are in the comments here and they're thinking, like, wow, this is so terrible, I should say something, you know, it's going to awaken a little part of their brain. It's going to get them to think, like, yeah, that kind of makes sense too. And a lot of people don't even know how nasty dog attacks are. Like, I was showing some people about how the police dogs have attacked children on a regular basis, and they had no idea. They were like total lovers of the canine dogs. They thought that canine dogs are so trained and beautiful and perfect and filled with this everlasting soul of justice and stuff. But they were just ignorant, and so that's just a suggestion. We can go on to these other pages that do analysis of society that relates to dog culture, and we can ask them, hey, you want to apply your logic somewhere else? I'd love to see it. Like, wouldn't it be cool if this guy's channel with all of his subscribers, if he did a video like this analyzing why somebody would go and get a pit bull? His analysis are really great, and he could talk about how they were tricked into thinking it was a nanny dog. He could talk about how they lied to themselves internally to think that the dog was safe, because that's exactly what he does in this video when it comes to ownership of the chimp. Okay, now for the next channel I want to share with you guys, it's called Unsolicited Advice. So let me show you one of his shorts videos.
What is crazy that we still do? In the past, people did things that we now recognize as either completely insane or just outright immoral. Burning witches, animal sacrifice, and
there was child sacrifice too. It's curious that he said animal sacrifice.
divining the future through tea leaves were once common sense practices, but now we think of them as utterly deranged. So, what do we do now that you think future generations will look back on and consider to be so abnormal as to be borderline pathological?
Well, wouldn't that be what we're doing with dog culture? Face surgery for kids, toddlers constantly being killed by the family dog, blood and guts and bone fragments all over these people's houses from canine dogs, other dogs, killing, maiming, tearing the flesh off of toddlers. Aren't people going to look back, like he's asking right here? What are we doing today that people are going to look back on and just be like, wow, that was freaking pathological? Like these limb removal from dogs, like groomer's lung, like all the suicide in the veterinary offices, suicides that affect more women than they do men. So that's an interesting question from this channel right here, Unsolicited Advice. Unsolicited Advice is asking us, what things are we doing right now that they're going to look back on and think that that was an atrocity? Well, if we want to look at dog culture from that point of view, we can look at some experiments that we've done not very long ago. The Ash conformity experiment, where people will go out of their way to lie because of social pressure. Dog owners in society in general will lie about dogs because they want to be accepted. Like, a lot of people realize dogs are very dangerous, very expensive, and they carry diseases and they ruin your home and they bark all day. A lot of people know that, but they want to be socially accepted, so they'll just pretend to love dogs. This Ash conformity experiment illustrates that. I got a bunch of other experiments in here that do a lot of things to little kids that dog culture does. There's this experiment with the little Albert where they tried to get him to be afraid of certain things. There's this one where they tried to raise a chimp with a human, and it made the human start to act like a chimp. Basically, it turned the human stupid. The language and motor skills of the human suffered. And that's what we're doing with kids right now. We're raising kids right next to dogs and making the kids adopt that animalistic, instinct driven, low prefrontal lobe use. Oh, and the fleas in the jar, that's another good one. So these experiments right here are kind of like what he's hinting at atrocities that we did to kids, making them have all kinds of problems later on in life. So, yeah, that has been two YouTube channels that have content that relates to the inner sickness of dog culture. And hope you guys like those channels. Hope you guys can have a look at this video at least, and check out the way that he analyzes what led to them falling in love with this chimp and convincing themselves that it was just a great thing. That is very similar to what we do with dog culture right now. We lie to ourselves, we force people to accept dogs and stuff like that. And all of those elements are very similar in this story. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys later.